Hi. Hello, my name is Susie and I'm here for the audition. Great. Shall I start? Can I do a vocal warm-up first, actually? Yeah. Red lorry, yellow lorry, red lorry, yellow lorry, red lorry, yellow lorry, red lorry, yellow lorry. The lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue. The lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue. The lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue. Wow, wee, whoa, wow, wee, whoa, wow, wee, whoa. Wow, wee, whoa. Wow, wee, whoa. Great. Shall I start? I'll be doing a scene from the Titanic, which was written by James Cameron and starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet. Now, I love Kate Winslet. I really wish I could be like her one day. I mean, of course, with better personal relationships. And I mean, I wouldn't want those hamster cheeks, but yeah, but apart from that, she is my idol. So, the Titanic. Rose, that's me, is milling about the ship. That was me milling about the ship. I see Jack. I think he's quite handsome, so I decide to mill over there for a bit. That was me milling my way over there. And that's the scene. Now, the next bit. The ship is about to hit a gigantic iceberg. Now, I can't actually do this bit, but I don't really have to, because this bit is about character study monologue. You know, I find this bit the most interesting because it's about getting into the shoes of the character. Yeah, I mean, for this role, I actually had a cold bath. Yeah. I mean, I don't mind suffering for my art. It was well cold. So the ship lurches this way. Oh, and then the other. That was me lurching. Oh, that's a lot of lurching, I think, as Kate. Oh, that was very strange. Now for some dialogue. Jack! Jack! I've fallen in love with him, you see? No, I just wanted to explain that in case it wasn't clear, because it might be clear on the interior monologue, but you might not have worked it out. I'm looking for him all over the ship. I'm biting my nails. You can see how nervous I am. What if he's drowned? Now for the next bit, we're on a raft. Now, I'm sitting down to show that we're on a raft, and I don't want it to turn over, so I'm going to do a bit of raft acting. I'm holding on to Leo's hand now. He's slowly slipping off into the water. He's got lovely hands. And off he goes. He's dead. Oh, this bit is dead sad in the movie. I mean, I've watched it a zillion times, but it gets me every time. Oh, that's it. He's gone now. He's dead. Frozen dead. And now I'm getting up. That was me transitioning into an old woman. And now it's modern day, and I've decided I don't want the necklace anymore. So I decide to throw it into the water. And that is the end of that. And that was the Titanic. All right? Hello? Are you even watching me?
Rothko. Can't wait to see the back of him. Sat here for the last 2 months, staring straight at... Well, what is it exactly I'm staring straight at? Straight black? Red? Orange? Horizontal horizons. Or are they horizons horizontally? Verticals occasionally. Beats me. Staring, I can see there's depth, but it just doesn't move me. Well, except from one buttock to the other. Call me old-fashioned, but I like to see a story when I look at a painting. Okay. I know I'm supposed to use my imagination, but why should I use mine if the artist hasn't? What about the paint, they say? Look at the paint, the layering, the over-painting. I'm now looking, and all I'm seeing is black. Pitch black. less pitch black, greyer black, now orange, blood orange, tangerine, satsuma perhaps. Now I'm imagining it. Eyes closed, I'm Rothko. I have my basic orange. Oh, lovely tube of it. I'm painting it neat and neatly. And something moves me to add white. And I'm squeezing white. And I'm mixing it. And I'm layering it over my orange. Oh, what an effect. Nah. No. When the gallery's empty, I like to get up close and personal to my favourite, in inverted commas, Rothko. I'm looking at the paint from 6 inches of light red over black, and all I can see is paint, red and black, and I just don't get it. It seems a lot of people do get it though, just me. So deep, layer over layer over layer. We've been packed out the old run, standing room only, except for wheelchairs and baby buggies. The usual bunch of punters, friends of the gallery. Get to recognise the regulars. Even sharing nodding hello with 1 or 2 of them. Hardly talk to anyone though. Like to sometimes. I think I could add my tuppence halfpenny worth to what they're looking at, but no. Keep stum. Know your place. Do your job. Last August we had Van Gogh. Now you're talking. He could paint. Get up close to his canvas and yeah, you can see the paint, sure, but what paint? Points of light, points of darkness, swatches of bright, living colour. What a bloke. Barking, of course. But you can imagine settling down for a drink with him on sun-kissed beach somewhere on the Med, or rolling back shoulder to shoulder, drunk under a speckled navy sky. Not Rothko. You'd be suicidal. Come to think of it, him and Van Gogh. What a pair. Sorry, got quite carried away. Stop me if I'm waxing lyrical. Bit of excitement last week. Geezer only has a cardiac arrest under white over red. Appropriate spot, really. Under his shirt to find "Do Not Resuscitate" tattooed all over his chest. Well, after all my exposure to art, I took this as being some ironic postmodern request, so I did exactly the opposite. Believe it or not, he came round. Looked a bit more violet, black, yellow and orange on white and red by the time we finished with him. Well, all in the day's work. We need some light relief after the hours of sheer boredom in this job. Churchill. Now, he's more my sort of painter. Great show last year. The Wilderness Years. Sounded a bit Adrian Mole. Lots of sky, and that's what you need when you're underneath artificial lights all day. You need sky and good colour. Naive, some would have him, but I think he painted from the soul. Bad press nowadays. Revisioning, I think they call it. How about an Hitler show for balance? He was a painter. 2 coats, 1 afternoon. I don't know what to think of it all these days. Take that DBS, for instance. Disclosure and Barring Service. Whoever came up with that mouthful? Criminal Record Bureau. Much more straightforward. You knew where you stood with them. DBS. Pfft. Never mind. A bit of clever computer work. Wipe the slate clean. Helps in my line of business. Gallery attendance, that is. Helps to have a clean record. All straight into this job. NQA. Just as well, really. For you, ladies and gentlemen of the well-scrubbed middle classes are looking, although you don't realise it, at one of the great connoisseur art thieves of our age. Remember The Scream by Monk? That was me. Bacon by Freud in Berlin? That was me. Freud Bacon, love that. Caravaggio, murdering bastard, had it coming to him. The Adoration, lovely trip to Palermo. Police went crazy looking for the mafia. Mafia schmafia. Yours truly. But my favourite was Rotterdam. Monet. Charing Cross Bridge, London. What an obsessive piece of work that Monet was. Painted that bleeding bridge every hour of the day, every angle, every colour, red, blue, green, VIB, GYOR, you name it. Lovely place, Rotterdam. Romanians took the rap for that. Police found some pigment in one of their mother's stoves. Cold in Romania. Always burning pictures to keep themselves warm. I got the Monet out in an old Dutch barge headed for Rochester. I think of that painting every day. The bridge looks different now, with footbridges each side. I wonder if the old geezer would have still wanted to paint it. I got a cool 3 million for that. So many versions. Still one. You've stolen a lot of them. You think I might have given up by now. I'll be 60 next year. Loads of money. Nice home. Nice missus. Kids off me hands. I think I'm as obsessional as my artist friends. If there are 50 ways to paint a Monet, well, it must be 50 ways to steal one. Anyway, we're talking Rothko now. Someone wants white over red over their mantelpiece. Trouble with Rothko, it's so fucking big. Excuse my French. Well, what would you do with all the dosh I've made over the years? Invest it in property, of course. Nice little flat behind Tate Modern. Set me back a cool 4 million nicker. Red over white came off the gallery wall nicely, but even with my team, couldn't carry it far. Only just fitted in the lift. You've probably heard about the privacy issues on our block. Ogled by those nosy parkers on the Tate Blavatsnik building. I'm not shy, but I thought net curtains might be a good idea. The Rothko grew on me. I asked the client if he didn't mind me hanging it over my mantelpiece for a few days. He said sure. Cleaner came in one morning. Nice girl. Romanian. Only left the bleeding nets open. Now I know why I never liked Rothko. Police claim they found pigment in the fireplace.
It started with the Postman, a new one, I believe. Well, that's to say I hadn't seen him before, and I do pay attention. As a rule, not many people pass by my little out-of-the-way place, which suits me, of course. So I make it my business to take a note of who's about. Civic duty, you might say. In fact, just the other day, the woman from the neighbourhood watch was hectoring me about keeping an eye out for suspicious activity. A busybody she may be in many ways, but it seems to me she might have had a point. And then today you knocked on my door, which just goes to show. Oh dear me. Now where was I? Yes, as I was saying, I don't normally see many people. Although there was always the vicar, of course. And that's what you asked me about first, wasn't it? Had I seen the vicar lately? Well, I can give you a straight answer to that. You see, the thing you must understand is that the vicar has long been partial to my hot buttered scones. Insisted on calling in every week as regular as clockwork. I always bake fresh scones on a Tuesday afternoon, and then he would knock on the door at 3 p.m. sharp, just as I was taking them from the oven. It started by chance. He just happened to call at that time of day. Well, either that or he smelt my baking on the way past and thought he would try his luck. He seems the type. Greedy man. So it happened that we fell into quite a routine, and he would call every week. Now, I want you to understand that I did not encourage this. I'm quite content on my own, but he did insist. He would say, "Miss Henshaw, your scones are like manna from heaven." He said it every week, while grinning in that way. Horrible teeth. Now, what you will want to know, and I can see it in your eyes, I'm very perceptive like that. What you will want to know is, do I know where the vicar is now? Well, yes, I can tell you that. He's under the rockery. Well, what could I do? The freezer was full. He was a very large postman. Would you listen to me? I'm dancing about all over the place. I hope you'll forgive me. Although I must say I don't find it very easy to talk to you under these conditions. Now, as I was saying, the postman, yes, that's where it all started. It was just this Monday. And as I say, he was a new postman. He rang the bell, which the usual postman would not have dreamed of doing. He had long learned to post whatever nonsense it was and move off quick sharp. And so, yes, he rang the bell. I opened the door and, well, to be frank, I simply stared at him to begin with. Common type, with untucked shirt, wearing shorts, and those music things in his ears. Well, I didn't like the look of him at all. He said to me, "Are you Miss Henshaw?" "No," I said, "I am Ms. Henshaw." And do you know what he did? He rolled his eyes. Rolled his eyes as if there was something wrong with me. But then I saw, and this is what did it, then I saw that he hadn't walked up the path. He'd cut straight across my prize begonias. Great boot marks through them. Well, I said to myself, that's quite enough of that. It was a rather sudden feeling, really. And his bad luck, I was holding my secateurs. So it was snip, 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 and I popped him in the freezer. Oh, it's such a waste. Those secateurs are ruined. Oh, don't look so shocked. The remarkable thing to my mind is it doesn't happen more often. You see, I've given it quite a lot of thought. Well, it took a good deal of time to finish the, shall we say, pruning. And so I had a chance to reflect. I asked myself, why do I have all this blood on my hands? In every sense of the phrase. Well, life is trying, isn't it? And there are so many irritations, the things which bother me, which disrupt my life, may well seem small to you and all the others. But it's my life, and the only one I have, and in my life these challenges, these affronts, they mount up, and I find myself so cross about things, so angry, and I've been so unhappy. It seems to me, people like me, on my own, we're not expected to be happy, just to accept our lot and to keep quiet. Oh, why shouldn't I be happy? Though I just about had enough, and when everything boiled over. And let me tell you, this last week has been the happiest of my life. I have never felt so alive. You will say if I'm going on, won't you, officer? Well, of course, once you start down the road, then these things become almost inevitable. And it was just the next day, after the postman, the Tuesday, that the vicar came round as usual. And there he was, butter dribbling down his chin. Ooh, revolting man. But this time, instead of his usual comment about manna from heaven, he said something about my not having, and I hope you'll forgive me, a soggy bottom. Well, I didn't have the least idea what he was talking about, so I thought, here I am, on tenterhooks, in case he spots the postman's hat. Oh, I'd kept it, you understand. I just felt somehow I should hold on to something so as not to forget him. So there I was on tenterhooks, looking at this disgusting man, and I thought, oh, to hell with it. So I dashed the vicar's brains out with my Royal Dalton cake stand. It took a few strikes, but it wasn't difficult, really. In fact, I think if people realised how easy it was, then you'd be a very busy man, officer. And you know, I can still picture the look on the vicar's face. Disappointment, as much as anything. Sanctimonious, even in death. Clearing up was quite the job. So I didn't know what was strawberry jam and what was... I'm sure we've all been there. You wouldn't have any tips for getting stains out of a lace doily? No? After the vicar, everything was easy. I seemed to have a flurry of visitors, and there was a momentum to things. And just the next day, a loutish-looking man parked his van across my driveway. He rang the doorbell, and when I answered, he said, I'm from the Amazon, of all things. The Amazon? I said, well, what are you doing here? He gave me such a strange look. Well, by now, I had resolved not to dilly-dally. Life's too short. And of course I'd taken to having something suitable to hand when I answered the door. So I took the poker, white hot of course, from behind my back. And he's in his van now, all neatly parcelled. And after that it was the woman from the neighbourhood watch. She asked me if I'd seen anything unusual. Well, in for a penny, in for a pound. It was a rat poison in her white with 2 sugars, and then I finished her off with a tea tray. And there you have it. Now, people, it seems, were starting to ask questions, and I think that's where you came in, officer. I can't say I was surprised when you knocked on the door. I think I've given you rather a shock, though, haven't I? I said, haven't I? Oh, I'm so sorry, how silly of me. Let me just take that tape off your mouth.
Owls without